All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here, of course, for
JoJo's
Part 3, Episode 3. Yes. And we have a very interesting new character of sorts brought into the mix.
It's right.
With his very wacky stand.
Mm-hmm. But more importantly, we have stands. Mm-hmm. And Dio.
And Dio is still Machiavelliing things in the background.
Yes.
Once he gets into the fray of things, I think things will get a little bit more interesting. But for now, I would like to see them continue to delve more into stands.
Right. Which they kind of did the last episode.
Yeah, but I just want more and more and more of that.
Keep it coming.
Keep it coming. Particularly with Joseph and Avdol revealing more about what they know about stands and more about the kind of hunt for Dio. I would like to see it move in that direction where it's a kind of what I've always wanted with JoJo is kind of them traveling and such.
Right, and I think we will get that now that we've had this attack. You know, the first of Dio's little minions coming after them.
Yeah,
that'll be a chance for them to follow the trail
for sure. And then also potentially having Jotaro learn a little bit more about his stand and what it actually does, because everyone else's has very specific
things that it seems to do, but not his.
Yeah, but not his.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious if his is just a super strength thing, like
it
just a physical booster of some kind. But I like that
completely different.
I like that they constantly remind us with Jotaro's stand in particular that it's independent of what Jotaro is doing, but it oftentimes is like super independent in that it will help him when he doesn't even know he needs help. It's basically like the guardian angel protecting him. And I like that.
Always on standby.
I like that. Funny. That was really good. But having his stand kind of be there and be a little bit nebulous and not really locked down as to what it does is also another positive thing.
JoJo's hasn't exactly been one to say you can do this and you absolutely cannot do this. They're all for having creative new things that the characters can do, applications and such.
And I think what they're going to be doing at this point is not necessarily saying that stands can't do this. They're going to be saying that your stand can do this and not this.
Right.
But stands in general can do anything.
Yeah, and that's the way they can still have there be like crazy things happening while not having it be people like coming up with new techniques on the fly.
Exactly.
Although they could do that.
Alright, so without further ado, let's get into this episode and see what they have in store for us.
It's a stand.
Yeah, probably. Fleshbud.
Okay.
Gross.
I love how he puts so much emphasis on that word.
Charisma! Got it. Got locked in, guys.
Oh, a delicate brain.
All brains are delicate, it's true. Yeah.
So Dio's a vampire, not a werewolf.
Oh, crap.
Going into so much detail about how he looks.
Yeah.
君は普通の人間にはない特別な能力を持っているそうだ。一つ。ああ、食べてる。
I was like, screw this! I'm out of here!
As soon as you see tentacles, run. Yep.
Other people with stands.
So maybe they can destroy the brain thing and then... Well, yes, just you don't necessarily know how the brain works or how those work.
Oh crap. Oh crap.
I guess.
More of a threat.
Oh! Pull the whole thing out. Okay, so Hammon's still a thing.
Smooth.
And
Yeah.
she's like, oh, I always knew my son was such a good boy.
All we need to do is stare, and you know what it is. Who knows?
そこのとこだが俺にも用があるからアリーわしの部屋の布団ベッドに変えてくれ
パパ、ここは日本なんだから、日本式に慣れてちょうだい。そうそう、私のことも聖子って呼んでね。
はあなんじゃそれよ
And he's like, yeah, you're giving up your name? Yeah.
聖
No.
子って呼ばないと返事しないわよ。痛くないか、教員。
His hands were doing the thing they did in the second part. That
制服脱いで。
よく見ろこれは長太郎のズボンだぞわしのはどこだサイズはぴったりでもこんなのあげるかおいホリ
the size is just right,
Yeah.
but he still won't wear them. That's hilarious.
Because all JoJo's are exactly the same proportion.
妙だ
はい、行ってらっしゃいのキスよ。チュ。
ないつもならこう来るはずなんだが
Could it be that the other guy woke up and... Uh-huh.
A spoon! A spoon! Menacing spoon! Nani? Oh,
More
crap. No, someone's been... They've been attacked. Holly, where is she? Oh, crap.
That's a problem.
ホリーさんホリーさんホリーさん失礼
Oh, crap.
なんてことだ
This must be an enemy stand.
Yeah.
スタンドだホリーさんにもスタンドが発言している
Oh, it might just be her stand.
Oh, the Joestar. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Dio's doing this because the curse of Dio,
Yep.
just being connected to...
その本人の精神力の強さで操るもの戦いの本能で行動させるもの
Oh yeah, duh, that's why it's
おっ
called...
とり
That's
し
why
た
this
平和な
episode's
性
called
格の
that.
ホリーさんにはこのままでは
Right.
死ぬ取り殺され
Okay,
て
now that
し
he's
まう
maybe
Maybe...
go get everyone
Yeah, yeah,
else.
exactly.
ホリー
Holly. It's a plant.
Oh, duh.
Vines and stuff. So he's just sad and angry?
Of course he is. Don't touch my coat.
Yeah.
いえ対策を
Okay, yeah.
You are the new Speedwagon. Expose it.
Yes. Let's figure this out.
ディ
Okay.
オを殺してこの
Nice.
地獄を
Crap.
So now they have
それ
actual
しか
good
ない
motivation, personal motivation to go after Dio. Nice.
ひょっとしたらその闇と
His
や
stand
ら
like analyze things.
わかるかもしれない
Oh, his stand darkness doesn't affect it or something.
脳に刺さった肉の目を正確
Oh,
に
it's
抜き
precise.
弾丸を掴むほど正
Gotcha.
確
Precise in its vision as well.
Right, and precise in its sketching too.
ハエだ空間にハエが飛んでいたのか
Oh.
しかし
No,
ハエ
it
など
actually
何
will
の手
help.
がかりにも
Yeah,
なってください
yeah.
このハエ
This
見覚えがあ
specific
ります
fly or this kind?
ジョジョ図
No,
鑑はない
because
の
the species.
Right, exactly.
Bugs
yeah,
are
yeah.
different, have different species depending on what part of the world they're in.
もう体はいいようだな悪いが今は
He's a little nervous
自分
being
のスタンドが害になって死ぬなどありえる
being
のです
with
か
all these other people.
ある私は
That makes sense.
そういった人間を何人か目撃している
Poison Ivy,
高
but
熱やいろいろな病
antagonistic
気を
towards
誘
her.
発して苦しみ、コーマ状態に入って二度と目覚めることなく
Jeez.
死ぬその症状になるまで50日はかかる
That's
のだ
quite a long time,
その前に
actually.
ディオを探し出して倒す
Yeah.
ディオの体
Better
から
than
発する
Joseph's,
スタンドのつながりを消せば
Timer
助かる
with
のだ
Wham.
Yeah.
He's like, it's just like back when you were a
顔も拭い
kid.
て
Yeah.
髪もバサバサじゃぞ
He's such a like adorable dumb dad, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
静かに寝てろ
Jotaro, calm down.
熱が下がる
It's just because I care about you so much.
黙って
Get better.
Yeah.
何も語らないが娘は自分の背中のスタンドのことに気づいている逆にわしらに自分のスタンドのことを隠そうとしている
Whoa.
わしらに心配か
Yeah,
け
he
まいと
really
し
is the
て
new
いた。
Speedwagon.
Gotcha.
Holy crap.
アイルウェウエバへエジプトナイル川流域にのみ
Okay,
生息
Egypt.
中でも
Gotta
足
go to
に
Egypt.
縞模様のあるものはアスワンウェウエバへと呼ばれる
エジプト、それもアスワン付近に
Whoa,
限定
so
さ
a
れ
specific
ます
region within
そこにい
Egypt.
る。
Alright.
They should
That's
find him
helpful.
quickly then.
家族とエジプト
Oh,
ナイルを旅行している
Gotcha.
時ディオに出会った
He's getting his memories back because he's not under the
リオ
control.
はな
Sure.
ぜかエジプトから動きたくないらしいな。
私も同行する
That's actually kind of troubling
なぜ
because you'd think he'd go around finding more stand users to
Yeah.
なぜ同行したくなったのか
control.
は私にもよ
But
く
if
わ
he's
からな
staying
い
in
んだ
Egypt, that
よ
must
ね
mean there's some reason that's good for him to
Yes.
stay
お前
there.
の
So
おかげで目が覚めた
安心していればいいんだよ。
But who's gonna take care of her? Are they gonna bring her with them
ジョ
or?
ジョのお母さんホリーさんという女性は人の心を和ませる女の人ですね
Okay,
wait.
good.
Hey,
From the Speedwagon Foundation. Yes!
Speedwagon Foundation is still a thing. So awesome.
Yes. Cool.
I love it. Speedwagon lives on.
占い師のこの俺がお前のスタンドの名前をつけてやる。
But won't that be too short of a name?
星
Star.
スターのカード、名付けよう。君のスタンドは
Star
プラ
Platinum.
チナ。
Okay.
Platinum for the strength. Star for his brilliance.
And the fact that he's the main character.
That's right. I forgot about the Emerald Splash.
Yeah.
Reminded me of. Oh my gosh. The pose. The poses. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's an end credit scene. They're off. Boys are back in town. Dio's. Oh wait, no.
Wait.
What?
やはり
Dio's using
俺の
Joseph's.
Joseph's stand.
Does he have access to all of their stands? Because that also looks like.
Oh, he just sensed that.
見られた。早くも新手のスタンド使いがこの木に乗っているかもしれん。
Fly.
Uh huh. Wait. Oh no,
That is not a normal fly. Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
we are on the road again. The boys
yeah.
are heading out.
I was right. We're gonna finally travel. I
Yes,
want to see
yes.
the JoJo's squad. You know, go out there and just do stuff and deal with people
Walking
with
down the
stands and
street,
stuff.
like taking up 2 whole lanes of the road because they're shoulder to shoulder. Oh yeah.
I just want to see the ridiculousness of the antics that can come primarily from Jotaro and Joseph. But I feel like this new character, Kakyoin, has a lot of potential as well.
I think so. I think we will get quite a few good antics from him because I feel like with JoJo's, they'll make parallels with the other parts, right? So that there's that sense of familiarity while doing things very differently. So
Absolutely.
Joseph is kind of the new Speedwagon, even though he's very different from Speedwagon.
True.
Kakyoin feels like the new Caesar, even though he's very different from Caesar.
Right.
So
And Avdol doesn't have a direct correlation. If anything, Avdol is actually more like Caesar. Because he is kind of training the new aspect of the the power. Even though he's not the bro, if anything, they've divided Caesar's role up into two
is
characters.
Abdul more like Zeppeli?
Yes, but Caesar was a Zeppeli.
No, I know, but
It's the same
Zeppeli.
thing.
No, but Zeppeli's role from the first one.
You mean the original Zeppeli?
Yeah, the original Zeppeli. Yeah,
But
because anyway.
fine, whatever. The point is, these stories are bringing us into a very familiar area with JoJo's as far as structure goes, but they look to be making this one into a lot more casual of a story. In that it's not necessarily going to be a tense thriller as much as it's going to be
an adventure.
An adventure,
Constantly,
yeah.
Right, because they said 50 days for a time limit, which is quite a lot of time. Like,
quite a lot of time. It does not take
Yeah.
more than 12 hours to go to Egypt from maybe where they're at.
Right. So, and the fact that
Well, actually, if they were taking connecting flights at all those spots,
Yeah,
it would take about 2 days.
Yeah,
maybe.
it probably would have taken a while. But still, the point is, they've got quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
And even if they went at the quite clip pace that Part 2 went at, that's still almost double the time that Joseph had to fight Wham.
Yes, that's a good point. Also, what I think is interesting is that because they have 4 people involved with the main protagonist group outside of Holly, they could encounter Dio quickly, and it could turn into a chase. It's not necessarily a thing of them actually having to fight Dio.
Yes.
It's more of a thing of Dio wasn't ready for, having one of his followers turned on him. I feel like Dio would lead them into a trap. And that would be a cool way for us to see a character death, like, really quickly. But I feel like we need to build up these characters a little bit more.
We do. There's also the fact that in the opening there was that other person that had the stand that was the armored knight-looking person, which looks like a very cool stand. I'm very partial to armor, in case you haven't
yes, you are.
figured that out by now. So we also need to get introduced to them. So it could be a while before they find Dio, because Dio is in hiding. Even though they've narrowed it down to a region, they might not be able to narrow it down any more than that for a while.
Right. Also, here's the other thing. Dio is a really big fan of utilizing pawns to basically be the means by which he encounters the protagonist first.
Right.
And they could go through a lot of Dio's pawns that would take a decent amount of time before they actually end up meeting Dio.
Because here's the thing I'm wondering. Okay, stands. So the Joestars have stands because they're bloodline, right?
Right.
But other people have stands as well. So
it's not a unique thing.
It's not a unique thing,
lineage,
but it seems to. But they've said it comes from Dio. Like it exists because Dio.
No,
like
the reason why the Joestar lineage has stands is because of Dio.
Right. The reason they have stands is because of Dio. Yeah. Now, and that might just be a bloodline thing. But is it something where? Oh no, yeah, Dio couldn't give people stands because he searched out Abdul.
Right.
So I guess then the question is just how rare are stands? How easily can Dio find people with stands?
I would say stands are probably like mutants from the X-Men thing. They're probably like that 1 in 100,000 type of thing, where you could probably have 1,000 of them on the on the planet, but they're finding 1,000 people.
But Dio might have like stuff that actually helps him find them or things like that. Like you never know.
Well, as far as we know, he's taking spirit photos using Joseph's stand against themselves. So does
I
Dio?
think Dio has all of their stands.
I think that's what it's going to be. Is that the way they have the Dio fight be very interesting? Is that every person in the Joseph Joestar whole lineage and all that, their stands are all coming from Dio.
So he has
Dio. Dio is the source of their power now because he's also Jonathan. So in that stance, anything they can do, Dio can do better. And it's the idea that it's going to take all of them to stop Dio plus more, because they need the unique stands that Dio wouldn't have.
Right. That made me think immediately of them actually using that song, since JoJo's loves to use music. I know they use more of like the old classics than
that would be so dumb if they did that. And JoJo's is not a it's not a dumb show. It does very intentional.
It's dumb in all the right ways.
No, because it doesn't do dumb things with its presentation and its music. It
knows style.
It knows exactly what kind of style it wants to deliver.
Right. And it always delivers.
It really delivered. And I think that this episode actually did something interesting where they doubled down on a character that was actually exiting the story for a little bit. Holly, they gave her a lot of character development this episode.
They did.
And I was like, wait a minute. So are they going to bring her with them?
That's what I was thinking for a while. The fact that she's staying back is like, oh, okay, sure, because, it
makes sense.
The minimum shoulder span in order to go with them is you don't
3.5 is 3.5 to 4 feet. Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry, you just
but there's the Speedwagon Foundation, because that totally still exists.
Fantastic.
Probably rules the world by now. Because it's 50 years after where it was before.
That's
their
a good
stock
point.
probably took a dip once Speedwagon actually died, because they no longer had the word of God to tell them what to do. But
they could make some point about how ever since Speedwagon passed, the Foundation's technological advancements have been relatively on par with the rest of the world. But this being said, Jotaro also got some character development.
He did, and it was development that was both very good
and very comical.
It was very comical because Jotaro kind of seems like he's trying to be the edgy JoJo.
Yeah.
But he does
bad.
it. Yeah, I'm bad. I don't like you. I don't care about you. Whatever. No, stop it.
Is he a tsundere? Oh my gosh, that's what it is. That's what it is. I just had like this moment of clarity.
It's not the grandpa
yes,
tsundere.
Exactly.
It's the grandson tsundere.
No. They're both tsundere.
Yes.
And it's how they're going to bond.
Yes.
Their tsundere natures will bring them closer together.
That's brilliant.
After having their sunderings multiple over and over again. And they just don't like each other.
And that's so great because one of the things that you often do in these sort of estranged parental figure type things is you say, you actually have way more in common like than you think. So the fact that they'll both be tsunderes. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
I'm a sucker for tsunderes.
Yes, and Jotaro realizing in this point, like, how much he appreciates those little things that his mother does, and how he's like, he notices those differences in there. I'm not gonna go as deep as to say, like his mother, where she's like, he's actually a good boy. No. Jotaro has some issues. He's a flawed character. But what I think they're setting up for is that he's not going to be anything like Jonathan. He's not going to be. He's not going to be a dumb character either.
Right. It's something where, like, like originally you think of like Jonathan and Joseph as just polar opposites. But then you're like, oh, then Jotaro comes around and you actually realize that it's like it's the third dimension onto what otherwise would have been.
Right, but even then, those are all on opposites of each other. They all have different similarities and different opposites within the certain aspects of the character. But Jotaro, right now, being, I would say, the most simple of the JoJo's, I would say in some ways a little bit simpler than Jonathan, because Jotaro's motivation right now is primarily to kind of understand what the heck's kind of going on and stuff. But then also, in particular, once he saw that his mom was kind of acting up physically and being like, I'm fine, I can do this stuff, and he got angry. And he's like, no, you go to sleep, like, rest now. I care about you. I want you to. That was, I think, the best character moment that we've had for Jotaro so far.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, there may be others that compete for it a little bit, but this one was good because if you've ever had a parent that is in pain. Now, this is something I'm going to get a little bit personal here, but our mom has a lot of physical problems with her that keep her out of it physically. And when we see her trying to do things that we know she shouldn't be doing, it can get us a little bit frustrated. In particular, I can get a little bit frustrated because I'm like, no, you need to rest and you need to take care of yourself and not do those kinds of things.
Because she is the type of person that will try and, like, do both ends and all
exactly. And for us, it hurts because then we go, oh, I don't want to see them that way. But then you go, wait, no, I do care about them. So just don't take it out on them. Don't take it out on them.
Right.
And Jotaro, being a young kid, it makes sense for him to act out like that.
Yeah, especially given what we've seen of his personality and the way he interacts with his mother so far. He doesn't exactly how do I say it? There are some things that he could learn.
He's trouble standing what she's doing. Also, this is another thing.
He has some lessons he could stand to learn.
Yes. We could be seeing a bit where Jotaro is not a fan of stands in general. In that, now this is maybe a little bit of a reach, but he didn't like necessarily the fact that he had to deal with his stand in prison, remember?
No, I think he had to find... No, I think he was fine... gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm a danger to those around me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But then if he sees that the stands can be a danger to the wielder themselves, that gets him a little bit kind of,
Sure.
It's not him, it's someone else.
Right, but
he has that kind of protectorate kind of mood around him.
But that could have been, okay, but let's look at it that way. So, there might be the temptation to look at I'm a danger to those around me, so I need to be in jail.
Right.
As sort of just like a basic sort of edgy type thing. But it could also be that it wasn't that he was worried about other people in general, because, he beat people within an inch of their life. It was that he was worried about his mom.
Yeah.
And so the idea that it's like, I did all that, blah, 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 and it wasn't even my stand that ended up hurting her. It was her own. Right. Oh, no. And I locked myself away in prison while she was dealing with this. I was so focused.
That's... Yeah, he doesn't know that she had the stand prior to this.
Right, yeah, he doesn't know how long she's had it. Yep, exactly.
But because he doesn't know...
Right, and they've determined that she already knew about it, so she had it for at least a little bit.
No, she might have known about it.
Just earlier that day. And
just earlier that day.
I'm not going to tell him about it.
Yeah, maybe she sees it and goes, oh, I don't want to worry them. And then she passes out. So we don't know how far before...
Yes.
Her being in that bed, she had seen her stand.
Right.
But we have Joseph Joestar, the new Speedwagon, expositing the truth to us, so therefore we have to believe him 100% in that she did see it.
Yep.
She can see the stands, which is another thing. If Jotaro, found out about his stand, and, he potentially knew maybe his mother could see it and stuff.
Gotcha.
He didn't want to scare her, so he separates from the area as a way to go, no, I don't want you to have to worry about this big creature man thing that's stalking me all day.
Yeah.
But she didn't seem to be worried about it, so
and
maybe, it's a little bit iffy.
And maybe she actually noticed that was happening, and that's one of the reasons why she's always like, Jotaro's such a sweet boy, because she sees him doing all these things and he thinks he's being like sneaky about it and that she doesn't know, how much he cares and stuff.
Right.
But then he's actually,
right, because the stand is a projection of your soul, your your mind, will, and emotions. So therefore, I keep saying Joseph. Jotaro's desires and his will is manifest in the stand.
Right.
Star Platinum.
Yeah.
But also Star Platinum has a will of its own as well. And that's a good thing to keep bringing up, is those moments where the stand user has their will go into play, but then subconsciously there's the will of the stand doing things as well.
Yep.
So that's something I wanna figure out more about, because I could see that being a way that they defeat Dio. Dio has connections to their stands, right?
Okay, yeah.
So if Dio potentially is the source of their stands, maybe he has a host of people, and when he's talking, he's talking with all of those stands.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I can see that.
Those stands, if you have an interaction where it's basically an inner soul battle, they could wrest control of their stands back from Dio and make it solely their own.
Sure. Or if Dio has a separate stand, and then just like access to their techniques or something like that, they could potentially influence Dio's stand directly.
I don't think so about that. I was meaning based around solely because of the
bloodline connection.
The bloodline connection, and that we now know that he can use at least Joseph's stand.
Right, and the design thing looked like he had
potential access to Holly's stand as well. And that might be why the curse was affecting her in that moment, was he'd been using her stand in combination with Joseph's for reconnaissance or what have you.
Yeah, I could see that.
Ooh, wait a minute.
What?
They were mentioning how Dio has his kind of attraction,
charisma
right?
thing, yeah.
But then they mentioned how Holly makes people feel at ease around him. Maybe he was using Holly's stand when he met Avdol the first time.
I like it.
That's a pretty cool potential thing
that's awesome.
Going there.
Yeah.
I also like the potential of combo stands, meaning that stands being used in conjunction with each other. Yeah, because then you have the group of four going out there.
Tank,
their
healer,
stands,
2 DPS.
Yep. And they could do special techniques and stuff with each other's stands used together.
Sure.
What do you think Dio's doing in Egypt?
Contemplating extreme puppy kicking.
Yes, but I'm guessing some sort of mummies. Some
they could do that.
Some burial, grave digging kind of stuff. He's hiding in a pyramid or something, because he needs a place that can't have sunlight go to him.
Right.
He's not Cars. He has not beaten the sun.
The only way they could potentially work around that is if they basically said that because he has Jonathan's body,
he has the head of Dio. Though.
He has the head of Dio, so only the head is what's vulnerable to sunlight or something like that. So that's why he has so much hair.
I think the hair, though, being connected to the DNA of Dio
would make it
still susceptible to sunlight. Yeah,
possibly.
I think that Dio is in Egypt.
Then.
Yes, but I think that Dio might be in Egypt literally because
he's
can't
living
move.
in a pyramid.
He can't move. Like, no, he can't. He's near the equator.
Okay.
The sun is up too many hours of the day to where he can't travel that easily.
Sure.
Like, he would need to travel from building to building, but, where are you going to go? The Sahara Desert? That sounds pretty bad. You can't go south. You got the jungle there, but then there's not
Try
really...
to get on a plane.
He could get on a plane. That's true. And planes go straight into airports, which don't have sunlight going through there.
Well, and if it arrived at night,
Yeah, he could plan that.
He could do it.
But then he would be in a populated area, and maybe he's actually trying to hide. Maybe he's vulnerable right now.
Okay, yeah.
And that's why he's caring so much about having minions and doing reconnaissance.
Yeah, I'm all for that, because one of the things that was really cool to see Dio do in Phantom Blood was the idea of him trying to amass power.
Right.
So we'll have to see how he's able to do that in this time, assuming that he'll still be doing that.
Right.
But I think so, because why else would he be?
Well, he'll amass followers because he's already been doing that,
yes,
or at least he's been trying to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He will develop his stand powers, probably.
Sure. Yeah, because he was all about but breaking the limits of humanity and all that.
There's a body or a person that's been in the background almost every time we flash over to Dio. You notice that? It's a person sitting down, cross-legged. We don't see anything above here.
Gotcha.
So it's like there's someone that's maybe training him. And maybe that's who he's talking to, and it's not the stands. It's some...
Sure, that... I don't think they'll have Dio getting trained, though, because that would take away from his coolness. Maybe he's training somebody that is his, his special instrument, or, I don't know. Or maybe it's his stand.
His stand is just sitting over in the background, and we think it's a real person when it's actually just...
It's actually just his stand. But that's kind of misleading.
That's very misleading.
Because you're having Dio's stand, in its first time it's introduced, to be sitting. And I'm sorry, but
by the nature of them being called stands, and also with how fabulous Dio is.
Do you think his stand would be
sitting in the shadows?
Sitting in the shadows? No. It would at the very least be posing in the shadows.
Oh yes. Yeah. Like when I think of what makes sense for Dio's stand, I think of the most annoyingly sassy vampire woman. Or
that would be fun.
And she's really attractive and really just yes, and
you're so awesome, Dio.
Yes. Yeah. Or something that's just imperial and showing his desires to dominate the world and everything. Something that would be almost like the Pillar Men in a way.
What would be crazy is if the stand was something that was almost like Jonathan.
Oh,
that would be really fitting.
A twisted, dark Jonathan.
Yep.
That would make sense with the Imperial thing, is that it's something that has the Jonathan Joestar, I am, 6'5", 250 pounds of just muscle and everything.
And it would also make it so that it would be very personal whenever they fight the stand, because it wouldn't just be Dio. They'd be needing to fight the at least the image of Jonathan.
Oh, and that would make sense why then his stand has control over all of their stands.
Yeah, because it's the Joestar stand.
It's the Joestar stand. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't know if they'll there's a part of me that's they're not actually going to do that, but I hope they do, because that would be pretty awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. I can't think of anything else to discuss other than I am liking the goofy bits.
Oh yeah, the goofy bits are
they've had some very funny things, like when they saw the spoon. When Abdul was walking and he saw the spoon, and it's menacing, and he's just Nani,
that doesn't go there.
He's repeating in his head the line from the Matrix, you were saying there is no spoon.
They could have done an amazing joke there if he's medicine, and he's this doesn't go here. He goes in the kitchen, puts it away, and then that's it.
Abdul is an organization freak. He's leaving things on the floor. Joseph! You know? I told you about leaving your utensils on the floor. Except Abdul doesn't seem to be the type of person who gets angry like Joseph.
No,
he seems to be, if anything, the
exactly.
Zen master who kind of keeps Joseph
in line.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would like them also to bring up that Abdul is probably the strongest of them right now. Like, of all of their stands at this moment. Like because they brought up that Jotaro's stand, Star Platinum, was very strong. Was very strong when it went to fight
Crimson Flame or
Crimson Magician. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was something like that.
We'll get it eventually.
But Abdul's stand, and when that happened, there was a bit of a contest of strength of like, oh, whoa, your stand is strong. But if I had been going all out and trying to kill you, you'd be dead right now.
But that's what everyone thinks before they go up against the main character.
But that's the thing. I think it would be cool to show that Abdul needs to train.
Because they
do some legitimate training for Jotaro.
Yes, because I believe in every part so far they've done some sort of training.
Right.
And even if it doesn't last super long like it did in Phantom Blood, but
right, and I could see them doing a bit where they're either on their way to encounter Dio and they meet someone really strong and they're like, whoa, Jotaro, we need to train before we face Dio.
Yeah.
Or they face Dio and he's way too strong, like way too strong already, and they have to run away.
Okay.
And then maybe it's a chase for like they're both chasing each other.
That would be interesting.
Like instead of it being,
if it ended up being something where Dio was hunting them, that would be a cool way to like throw a twist.
I think it'll be both of them, like rather than like Dio. It's either going to be them hunting Dio or them both kind of, playing games with each other. Yeah, but not like cat and cat, like where cats, because cats just both stare at each other when they're about to fight and they just go. Like that's what a JoJo's fight will be. I think will be. It's more of this thing of just like staring and posing hard,
puffing up
and then
their
like
tails.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden just going crazy, Okay. But instead of it being the fight, I'm talking about the
pre-fight,
the build up to the adventure, the adventure build up to the actual fight.
I hope it ends up being something a bit more manly than a cat fight. But
you're taking my words and twisting
them. But
them.
even with like the build up, like because it's Dio and we haven't seen him in a while.
Yes, that's true. So then I'm worried about their encountering Dio anytime soon, because the story seems to be moving
going at a
too
much
fast.
slower. Oh
no!
Gotcha.
I meant that it was slow in the beginning,
right?
But they're now really moving it quickly to be like, Dio is in this sector of Egypt. Let's go there. Oh, we're there. Oh, okay. Yeah. We're on a plane. We're probably going to encounter whoever's stand this little fly thing.
Yeah, the bug.
But
whatever.
But if they make it to Egypt, we're like 2 episodes away from Dio. Like if that's how easily they can find him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at the very least, Dio finding them and springing a trap.
Yes. Guess we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. Yep. All right, guys, if you want to watch the next episode's reaction right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. Also has full-length reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us about storytelling and what have you. And yeah, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.